What's up, party people? Welcome to Honest Trailer Commentaries, the show where we talk about our show, Honest Trailers, which is a show where we talk about other people's shows and movies. Thanks for being here. Hopefully you watched the Honest Trailer for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and now you're hanging here with us watching Honest Trailer Commentaries. If you haven't watched it yet, hit pause real quick and go watch it, come back and see us, or just you special brave souls that only watch this show. God bless you and you do you.
We are going to talk over it. So.
Yeah, we are absolutely going to talk over it, and video starts now. I'm Joe, Lon Harris, Danielle Radford, both joined me in writing this epic sort of thing that it became, this weird monster. Yeah. Spencer still being a dad. Dan off traveling. We wish you the best, buddy. We'll see you in about a week. So Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Let's talk movie, and then maybe after the trailer we can talk about just the weird monster that this trailer became, which is completely my fault. I like honestly, this movie a bunch.
I'm really glad that we came up with like a bit, like a gimmick for this one instead of just doing it straight, because this movie is good.
Yes.
And it would be hard to just write a lot of jokes about it.
Yeah, there's not a lot to say. I feel like
it gets real nitpicky when a movie is this good.
Right.
Yeah,
and we're not really into nitpicking.
Yeah, because I looked over my notes and a lot of it was like, technically that's true, but come on, it's good.
Yeah, and this isn't really like a nitpicky show. Like, yeah, there's stuff you can sort of like poke at, but
unlike another internet show that maybe you're thinking about, I don't know.
Yeah, if you really want to get the nitty gritty, there are plenty of options for you. This is Honest Trailers.
Yeah, we're about the funny.
Yeah, and we're about the honest. And because when I first came in and I wrote my first drafts for Spencer, I was like, we're roasting? Let's roast. And I would just like, for like good movies, I think my first one was like Aladdin, the animated movie, and I was just like, this garbage, blah, blah, and just wrote like I was writing for a roast battle, and Spencer was like, no. I just like pushed my laptop back to
me. But Aladdin's
like,
good.
Yeah, this is a honest, not just like funny jokes. Yeah, I love this movie. A little background on me. I used to work in international distribution in Warner Brothers, and part of my job was every morning I would update. They had a giant spreadsheet, and every tab of the spreadsheet was every month of the year for the next 15 years of movies. And when they were releasing in every country in the world. And every day that would change, and every day my job in the morning was to go in and make those updates in that spreadsheet.
Wow.
And so for years I looked at untitled animated Spider-Man movie on Sony's release dog, and it would move around, but I was always like, what's that? What is this?
Yeah.
You know, like, because I think even at the time, like, Amazing Spider-Man 2 had just come out, and I was like, you have a Spider-Man. Yeah. I don't understand what this is. And then there was the MCU and Sony, the whole agreement happened, and I was still like, what is the Spider-Man cartoon? Like, this seems dumb. And even when I heard it announced, I was like, I don't get it. I'm not sold. How do you? Because I've just been trained now by the MCU, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's weird that we fell into. It seems like animation would be such a natural medium for comic book adaptations, because they're already drawings. So it's like, bring those drawings to life. And I remember seeing Batman Mask of the Phantasm in theaters, which was like the right age group for me getting into superheroes. It's so good. Like, if you haven't seen Batman Mask,
it's brilliant.
It's on DC Universe, that streaming platform they have now. Please do watch it. It's great. And ever since then, I feel like I've been sort of keyed into, when are we going to get some theatrical animated superhero films? It's such a natural fit. And I don't know, it just developed in this other way, and it became weird for people.
Well, I think there are a lot of movies that you can say are maybe the start of it, but we definitely got into a place where we wanted our superhero movies to be taken seriously as art, darn it. And in the U.S. at least, cartoons and animated is still very much thought of as a kid's medium.
Yeah.
Unlike in, obviously, Japan and other places. And so...
Wait, what's going on in Japan?
All sorts of crazy stuff, man.
I know.
Oh, it's nuts.
I think it's called Japanimation.
Yeah, I did, yeah. I'm sorry. Continue. I didn't mean to derail your excellent point.
Oh no, so that was it. I was basically done.
Good.
Just we wanted something that was more, not necessarily adult, but at least something that was PG-13, and it was thought at the time that you couldn't really do that, even though you did have so many of these amazing Batman animated movies.
Yeah, the DC animated movies, like the direct-to-video and now streaming
Killing
ones,
it.
they're great. A lot of them are really great. So
Yeah.
it does seem like there's been an awareness in general, like there is an audience for cool, aimed at teens and adults animated movies with superheroes. But hopefully maybe this will be the deciding factor.
But then it just blows my mind that, and I guess shade intended to Sony, because Amazing Spider-Man 2 isn't great, and the first Amazing Spider-Man isn't great, and Venom's fine, but this is I'm shocked that a studio was like, this movie, and every step of the way was like, yeah, do it. Because this movie's kind of art. We say it in the trailer, but it's a work of art. It's a visual work of art.
There are so many ways this could have gone wrong.
Yeah.
And we've seen them in live action.
Yeah.
And it's even harder in animation. And, when you get a good team together, then that's when you make this happen. And I love online, all of them are constantly bigging each other up. They're sharing things from every department. This is a team that definitely knows that this is a team effort. And it's not just about Lord and Miller. It's about, it's not just about Peter Ramsey. It's about everyone. Oh, by the way, Peter Ramsey does not have a blue check mark yet.
That's
Really?
weird.
That's weird.
You know what? I don't either.
Neither do I. So it's clearly a problem with the blue check mark system.
Team Ramsey here. We're we hear you, man.
Justice for Joe Starr.
You know what? It doesn't bother me that I don't have a blue check mark most of the time until I go to somebody's account who's got 200 followers and they have one. I don't know why
Wait
that
a
bothers
minute.
me. Hang on.
It bothers me.
I'm more important than this person.
I'm just looking for things to fill the void. And the blue check mark's gonna do it.
Just anything. Just tell me you like me. Tell me I'm valid. Tell me I'm valid.
I just need it. I love this movie. It's fun. It's dramatic. It hits the theme of Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think that
super hard.
Going in, I sort of expected, because, I had pretty good buzz when I saw it, Lord Miller. I figured, okay, this will be a cool Spider-Man adventure. I like the idea of having all the different Spider-Men in it. But what I did not expect, and what I think is really what takes it to that next level, is it's a really good coming-of-age story about Miles Morales.
Yes.
It's one of the best superhero origin movies I can think of, because it really invests you in this guy and gives you his perspective on being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I did not see that coming from this cartoon.
It takes those standard beats that every movie does for the origin, but just hits them better and from different angles. And I'd love this movie.
I mean, he feels real and three-dimensional in a way that a lot of live-action superhero protagonists don't, even until their second or third movie. Doctor Strange gets introduced, and we're all for that first movie, okay. But then when you see him in Infinity, we're like, okay, they finally
That's
got
a real
it.
dude.
Yeah, that's who he is.
This feels like they got Miles immediately. There's never a moment where you don't know who this kid is.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Yeah. Let's watch the trailer.
For years, Sony has tried to launch a Spider-Verse to call its own. Some have been good, some have been bad, some have been Venom, and some never even started swinging. Now they're back with an all-new strategy, saying F it and doing all the spider stuff at once. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Strap in with this fresh take on your favorite neighborhood superhero. That's probably one of the best movies of 2018, but it's got a lot of spiders in it. I don't know. The movie's a work of art, man. Maybe I'll just run out the clock on this one by pushing random buttons in my booth. What's this one do? That's not a good sound.
Pause. In the original version of this, you had, and this is a total credit to you as a writer, Joe Starr. You had a really elaborate explanation.
Yep.
There were different buttons, and I think he spilled coffee
on his
super collider,
proton collider. And I was reading it and I was like, it's really funny that Joe invested in the reality of Epic Voice Guy in his booth enough.
It's important to me.
I figured it was not going to make it into the final trailer. Yeah. But I am glad it was there.
Yeah. The original version of this was Yeah, he was like, I guess I'll just sit and play with my particle collider or something like that. And he's like, and then it went on forever, and it was like, oh, that's not a good sound.
There was like Foley work we would have had to do.
Yeah.
There was like a whole.
There was a lot.
A good 10 seconds of it.
There was a lot.
Well done, Joe.
And then so I wrote this one. Okay, so this one is my big swing without Dad here. And after I wrote it, I was like, I have no idea if this is good or not. And so I did send this one to Spencer and was like, hey, when you have a minute. And he wrote back and he was like, looks good. I don't know if that was just kind of like, I haven't slept in 8 days, stop sending me things. But he was like, how about instead of a particle collider, he just spills coffee on his soundboard. And I was like, good note.
Yep.
And then so it went from particle collider to, oh no, coffee is spilling. And it was still just like too much.
And then it's just like, it happens.
Yeah, and then Dan, here's why I think this team works is because we have great people like you guys coming in and just being like, you didn't think about this, you didn't think about this, here's a joke, and then you have me who's like, what if there's a particle collider? And then you have Dan who is like, Dan's the glue here. That's no news to anyone who watches Screen Junkies, but Dan is always the guy that's why he gets the reputation for being grumpy or being curmudgeonly or whatever, because he's always the guy who's like, I don't know, dude. Which I need that.
Well, we were just talking about how the root of the show isn't who can make the best snap against the movie.
Yeah.
It's honest.
Yes.
And that is, Dan keeps us honest. Like,
Yeah.
You and I, Danielle too, all of us at this table, we're goofballs who would do anything to make the joke sell. Like,
Yeah.
we just want to come up with the best joke.
Yeah.
And Dan's the guy who's like, even if it won't make the joke funnier, it's got to be honest.
Yeah.
It's got to be real.
Because I think that was word for word his pitch. He was like, I don't know, what if he was just like frustrated about the movie and he just wanted to run out of time by pushing buttons in his booth? And I was like, perfect. That's the line.
Yeah.
So before we get into the premise, I just want to also point out, I love this trailer if nothing else than for these portals opening.
Right.
Kevin, our editor, did an amazing job with them. JT, I don't know if you can just like frame by frame back through these, but there's all these big honest trailer moments.
Yeah.
The Allen Raptor, you saw Felicia Day pop in, just like Tyler Durden frame by frame style. They outdid themselves with everything that pops up in these portals, and I love them so much.
These are all like random little honest trailer Easter eggs.
Yeah, the Raptor's in there. Yeah, it's great. All right, let's keep going.
Whoa, I don't think I'm in my recording booth anymore.
Who are you?
I'm Epic Geek Girl, the voice of honest trailers from an alternate dimension. Just sunny, upbeat, and emotionally healthier.
And
what? That's all the explanation the movie gave. Want to team up for this one?
heck yeah! Suit up for a fresh new take on the Spider-Man franchise that combines jaw-dropping camera work and fever dream visuals.
With a multicultural hip-hop fueled New York that proves Sony product placement is the one constant in the multiverse.
To create a mold-breaking superhero story with the meta of Deadpool and Lego Batman.
Save it for Comic-Con. What's Comic-Con?
The heart of Superman.
And the visual style of Actually, this movie doesn't look anything like the animation we've gotten used to.
Does every animated character in your reality do the eyebrow thing too?
Yep.
Pause. So, I see a lot of people complain about anime and animation out of Japan, like, oh, it all just kind of like looks the same,
same
and it's
face.
like, and we definitely have a Western style of animation, and it's getting old.
Yeah, they call this DreamWorks face
Yeah,
on the
but
internet.
Pixar does it too,
Right, that's
yeah.
what I was about to say. It's
Yeah.
like, but you could clearly see that the smirking eyebrow up thing is not just DreamWorks.
Yeah.
Also, side note, in any picture of me doing stand-up, I will be making DreamWorks face.
You make DreamWorks face?
I will not mean to.
Yeah,
You're a B movie.
There was a there was a blog post that sort of like I think like a body language expert wrote it, and it was like, why do we want to see all animated characters make DreamWorks face? I wish I had it. It's really interesting. It is like, it implies like confidence, but things are getting crazy. You know, it's like, and it's like if you want to balance both of those emotions in one face, it's like they're sort of
this
smirking.
absolutely, before I even realized that I was doing a DreamWorks face, this is absolutely what my stand-up headshot looked like.
It's
It was me wearing a sports coat and a nerdy shirt going, like, yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, I'm supposed to be here. I'm a good comedian, but also you don't know what's gonna happen.
Oh no! I think I was standing in front of like a women's bathroom door.
What? How did I get here? Sure, you walked.
But,
you got there because you walked.
Yeah. But again, like this is why another reason I love this movie so much is because, Disney, I don't think look, their stuff looks beautiful, but I don't think they did themselves any favors when they're like, everything has to look like it can fit into the Disney Infinity game. So everything's going to have similar design qualities because it all needs to unify for our different stuff.
Pixar sameness, like a lot of Pixar character designs look the same, and then now Disney has adopted, post Wreck-It Ralph, Disney is like, we're gonna do Pixar too. Yeah. So now it's like all of Disney has kind of a visual
and the
sameness.
DreamWorks stuff ain't that different looking, so it's
no, it is not.
Yeah, and it's
like we spent 3 fewer months on this, guys. Can you tell?
Can you tell? But that's why I love Spider-Verse so much. It just we don't get stuff like this often. I felt like I was spoiled. I really did.
Honestly, ever. Because even I've been watching that Netflix animated anthology, Love, Death, and Robots. Because that is like all different styles of animation and trying to do sort of groundbreaking things, but it still feels very derivative a lot of the time. Like a lot of those episodes, it's like, oh, I get what kind of animation this is, and like, yep, that's that. Whereas this feels like no other animated thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, just the use of colors, obviously. And I've seen other things that have used the comic panels, but not in the way that this has, where it isn't just those shots where it's a comic panel. It's also little tiny details in the background where you will see that something looks like the way old 4-color printing used to look in certain elements behind it. It's beautiful.
It's also just trippy. It's like a head movie. Like in the 60s and 70s, they used to have head movies, which are like, do a bunch of psychedelic drugs and then go see this movie. Not that I'm recommending that to our young viewers, but
it'd be fun.
I mean, you could, but like this is that kind of movie where it would be like it's a crazy onslaught. It's like a visual experience.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's keep going.
Yep.
I do love what we ended up doing.
This booth is getting kind of crowded. Who are you three?
I'm the Epic Dungeon Master, a far traveler from a distant realm who earns his keep being critical about movies.
Y es yo, la voz épica de la mujer telenovela. Yo regreso el pasión a los honest trailers.
G'day, I'm Australian voice guy. I'm Australian.
Huh, how's that work?
Boobs.
That makes sense. Shall we continue this quest?
Pause. Let's see here. What were these originally supposed to be? Oh, Australian voice guy was supposed to be. It was going to be a silent movie.
Oh right. Yeah. Oh my god.
Thing that would just like pop up screens with like plinky music playing under it. Then you guys actually had a really nice sort of pushback against that idea, which I appreciated. Which was like next to the telenovela voice. That's just a lot of reading gags.
A lot of reading.
Which made total sense. So we reached out to Sunday Movies, who is one of the funniest, just it's really annoying because as professional comedians who work really hard to like try to be funny and like really craft jokes and what I'm going to do on stage, Mr. Sunday Movies just says anything, and it's just there's just something about not just in a accent like I'm a dumb American kind of way, but just his delivery, his dryness is so effortlessly funny that it almost makes me angry.
Listening to him, because today in the room we were playing all of the sound clips over and over to find the right takes, and I love that we forced an Australian guy to say all the things Americans think Australian people say all the time. Yep. It was like just a joke for our benefit on one level, because he's just over there like, "G'day."
Yeah, I
put
warned
a shrimp on the barbie.
I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry if this feels like a little like Dundee face," and he was like, "No, man, let's go for it." Yeah. And just also as a side note, he had like a medical thing come up during all this. I think he's been talking about it a little bit on Twitter, and like today he was. Because we did a few rewrites, because in the room also initially with this character, we were like, wouldn't it be funny if all the other characters had these big, huge introductions introducing their gag, and then he was just like, I'm Dave, I'm Australian. And like on paper, it was really funny, and in the room it was really funny, but then in practice, he almost got stepped on because everyone else was big and epic. And he was like, I'm Dave. And then just the video just like keeps cranking, and he kind of got buried. So we did a bunch of rewrites for him. And he had this medical thing come up, and we were like, okay, we get it. And so we reworked it with what he had already recorded. And then today, like when he's supposed to be recovering, was like, hey mate, sorry these are late.
Don't you feel bad for writing all stereotype jokes now?
It's like yesterday, I was gonna do it yesterday, but I collapsed with a fever. Just like, would you please?
Take a
Thank you
lie
so much,
down.
but like you should focus on being alive.
Good Lord.
And also speaking, since we're talking about some of the people, we also had for
the telenovela lady
is the awesome and amazingly funny Vanessa Gritton,
who you know from SJU and Movie Fights. Yep.
Who was amazing and has wonderful blue hair and is obviously super funny and nailed that completely.
Yes.
And then,
I love her pronunciation of passion.
Passion.
Yeah.
And then we also had
Matt Mercer from Critical Role was also kind enough to jump in. We premiered this at WonderCon on Friday, and it was funny when normal just jokes for everyone landed, and then very specific Critical Role jokes that I wrote because I'm a Critical Role nerd, and like you'd hear like 20 people in the audience go ha ha because those were for them. But yeah, and of course Felicia Day is our epic epic geek girl. They were really kind enough to jump in and do this because, which I was really excited about because when I saw this movie, I was like, I think the only take on doing Spider-Verse is if we have a bunch of alternate dimension voice people come in, and I want two of them to be Matt Mercer and Felicia Day. So I was super pumped that they were able to do this. Very, very excited. Thank you guys very much. Let's keep going.
Park your Peters, because there's an all-new Spider-Man on the block, Miles Morales.
He's a relatable, sweet, nerdy high school kid that was bitten by a radioactive spider.
Y destruido por la muerte de su tío y su amor por Gwen Stacy.
Wait, how is he all new?
This Spider-Man likes Post Malone.
Calling it Chris now, baby, I'm a wreck.
Yeah, makes
Pause. So while we were working on this, we all had that song stuck in our head.
How do you not get that song stuck in your head?
Specifically, that version where you cannot hear the lyrics. And so periodically, I would start singing it, and Joe would be like, "Damn it, Radford!" And one time over the weekend, I sent it to him.
Yeah, she's a horrible friend.
I'm not a good person.
She's like, needless to say,
I will never know the lyrics to that song. I never want to.
It.
I just want to know how Miles sings them.
Yep, that's it.
This one too, because. So this is another thing sort of Dan and I talked about with the approach on this trailer is we did Deadpool 1 with Ryan Reynolds, and it was a pretty good balance of meta and talking about the movie. The Deadpool 2 trailer maybe went a little too far. We're just talking about honest trailers, and we got a lot of feedback on that one that was kind of like, why aren't you guys talking about Deadpool 2? Which on one hand was tough because there wasn't like a ton to say about it. And then,
I actually think we ended up doing what we did for Deadpool 2 because it was like, well, how do we not just reiterate what we said about Deadpool 1?
So that was one thing we really wanted to make sure we got here was like, let's make sure we get everything we want to say into Spider-Verse and like work it into the funny gags, which I think we did a pretty good job of.
Despite all the gimmickry of like all the voices or whatever, like it very much still is about the movie.
Yeah, even little lines like that's the only explanation you're going to give for why you're an alternate being. And she's like, that's all the movie did. Let's go.
Right.
I think we did a better job balancing on this one. But you shall be the judge. Post Malone, let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
Completely different.
But you won't want to walk a mile in his loose-fitting shoes, because this Spider guy doesn't just have one coming-of-age problem.
He's got all of them.
From dealing with his demanding dad,
Finding his artistic voice,
to fitting in a new school,
Y manteniendo un amor prohibido de otra dimensión.
living away from home for the first time,
And puberty.
It's a puberty thing. I don't know why I said that.
Crikey, just so much puberty.
Please stop sticking.
but Miles isn't alone on his spider quest.
because plenty of spider folk are joining his party.
from the hot bod version
To the dad bod version.
Y Nicolas Cage haciendo el papel de él mismo.
Sometimes I let matches burn down to my fingertips just to feel something, anything.
John Mulaney playing himself.
I just washed my hands. That's why they're wet.
And
Street
one
smarts.
that's so anime, I'm amazed she's not licensed by Funimation.
Together, they'll battle all new takes on classic Spider bad guys.
Like the chaotic, neutral, and completely terrifying Prowler.
And the sexy cat lady version of Doc Ock.
All led by the Kingpin, a tragic villain mourning the loss of his wife, his son.
And his neck.
Hey, don't take my punchlines in my own booth.
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
Ugh, this is a mess. How did the movie keep all this manageable? So take the lead
Pause.
with a...
I did want to talk a little bit about the villains.
Yes, this is your nitpick.
This was the one thing I had watching the movie where I was like, that's honest trailerable. It's weird that in the animated Spider-Man, they're using all of the human, regular guy-looking villains. Kingpin's just a man in a suit. Tombstone's just a gray man with some guns. This is your chance. Animated. They're using Mysterio in the live action. Well, the fishbowl magic head guy, he's in the live action one.
I was like watching you get really mad.
And Kingpin is just a man in a suit. Put him in the live action one. All right, that's
all.
You could do your Spencer like, okay.
I will say on the villain note, Prowler is actually scary as hell.
Yeah.
In this. Now we can also talk about Uncle Aaron being a very bad uncle.
Wow.
If you'd like.
Yeah. I love Uncle Aaron, but like maybe don't take your favorite nephew, the kid that you kind of look after as your son, to go do graffiti at the place where you do crimes.
The same place where you do. It's also, like, all the villains in this movie. It's like, Kingpin, obviously, he's so fixated on getting his family back. He's not thinking about any consequences. Mm-hmm. Single-minded, it's part of the character. I can go with that. But all the other villains, at some point, should be like, we all live in New York. Do we want to, like, blow it up? Like, they're willing to destroy the city to get Kingpin's wife back? Yeah. I don't understand.
And my thought is, like, I think Doc Ock sort of jumps on him a few times about it. Like, it's not quite ready and it's unstable and this and that. And so like, they have their uneasy thing going.
Like, Tombstone is all in for this plan. It's like, what? How do you benefit from this?
Some of them I sort of go, they don't need to know. You know, they're like the goons on the street that don't know the general's plan.
But once like the street lights are turning into street lights from 18 dimensions, you'd be like, this seems weird.
Well, my guess is we know that Kingpin will kill folks if they don't do what he wants. So maybe they're
in too deep, Lon.
Yeah, maybe I just ride it out and hope that this doesn't collapse the universe.
Plus
Either that or it's a bullet in the head right now.
He did give me this cool purple ghost suit.
That's true.
That makes so cool.
That makes, I think, my favorite movie Foley noise in a while. Just the weird noise and music that accompanies Prowler. Just that weird. It's almost like the Annihilation trailer noise. Like that.
It's so cool too to see a movie take a villain who, like, a not very exciting villain and make them really cool. Like that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
It's like usually it's the opposite.
Yeah,
it's like
they use the Green Goblin, the ultimate version of Green Goblin, where he's actually like mutated. That
like
was super
huge
fun.
Goblin.
Yeah, that was super fun. And I also love that, like, this movie at no point ever feels the need to stop and be like, this Green Goblin's different from the Defoe guy. It's like, nope, they don't even do a dramatic introduction for him, I don't think. Miles drops in the thing, and you see from his point of view in the distance just this giant goblin man monster
and Peter's
chasing
just snapping on him already.
It's great.
And the way that they do it visually to let you know, like, hey, this is how things are different, is when they do, which is probably also product placement, but when they do that difference between, the big Coca-Cola Times Square stuff, and then it changes into whatever their generic Coca-Cola is, the different, they did the Nick Kroll and John Mulaney, they changed the name of that.
Yeah, it's Hi Hello.
Hi Hello.
And that's enough, and that's great.
Yeah, I mean, I
like when they trust us.
There's so many over the years. I think we've all gotten to the point where we want to see depictions of these comic book worlds as they exist on the page. So, like in a Batman comic, there isn't only one villain taking over Gotham at once, like there is in the movie. It's like in the movie, it's like this time Joker's the villain, and like he's the villain.
Yeah.
But in the comics, it's just a world where all of these villains coexist. It's like all happening at once, and I think that's what this movie does a really good job at that almost none of the other superhero movies do, which is
even the MCU, weirdly. Like the MCU, even for all its interconnectedness, is usually just like, here's our villain this time.
And maybe like one, like maybe you do the Captain Marvel. It's like, we got Ronan and there's Korath also. But like usually not. Usually it's like, if Winter Soldier's in it, Winter Soldier's the bad guy. Whereas this takes place in a world that feels like a lived-in Spider-Man world where there's just, like all the Spider-Man villains would all be alive at the same time.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of sad in Black Panther when Claw dies.
Yeah.
Because I think Claw could be a really good Turk. Right. For the MCU, just like he just pops up in places, like he could have been such a good this is the guy we crap on sort of second.
I'm sad we won't get to see Andy Serkis again. Yeah.
Same.
Well, Snap, and who knows what happens after that.
Oh, that's true. We go back to the 70s or whatever, and he's still around. I'd like to see 70s Andy Serkis Ulysses Claw.
Yeah, super into that.
Feige, you can have that one.
That is yours. let's continue.
So take the leap with a movie that sounded like a terrible idea when you first heard about it.
But ended up being so good we can't wait for more Miles.
Or Gwen Stacy.
Or whatever they throw at us. I'm down. Down under. Get it? I'm Australian.
O quizás una saga trágica del hombre araña encontrándose con su propio clónico. Los dos creando ese ser, el Peter Parker
clone
real.
sagas.
Pero en
Shade.
un momento climático, uno se muere en una explosión. ¿Era el hombre araña real o el clónico?
Except for that one.
Well, guys, it's been fun, but it's time to wrap up.
How do you want to do this?
Starring. Well, I would watch 500 miles. Peter Piner plucked a pack of Peter Parkers.
Yeah.
Depressions went. Depressions
That was the
went.
Dan one,
They're
wasn't it?
sad as things can
What?
get.
That was Dan, right?
Blonde recluse.
That's like a little mixture.
Squiddy Woman. John Hamm. My Hero Academia. Cage Against the Machine. And Purple Shala Ali. Bug Hero 6. You know, you guys could always stay. We could be an Epic Voice family.
Sorry, mate. Kangaroos to box.
Además que te amo, nunca podemos estar juntos. Yo tengo que regresar a mi propio cabina.
Until we meet again, my friend. Is it Tuesday yet?
Plus, if we stay here, our atoms will explode. So later, nerds.
Bye, Felicia. Oh man, I hope you come back soon. Because I'm not watching the Jared Leto Morbius movie by myself.
What is he doing?
What is happening?
Did you see that photo of him today, by the way? Sucking from a bag like that would normally contain blood. Posted it to his Instagram.
You don't have to do this, Jared.
Oh, he does.
I bet he's sending them to his co-stars. Just really getting into character. Yeah, that's the trailer.
There it is, folks.
We did it.
Purple Ali. Really went with that one, did you?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. There are some of the best starrings are the ones where our backs are against a wall. We haven't thought of anything else, and someone says something very stupid.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's the
that
one
was
that
the
happens.
Peter Parker pick of.
Yeah.
That's where that came from.
Yeah.
Was literally, I said the stupidest thing I could think of, which was
Yes, that's
Peter
right, that's right.
Piner for Chris Pine, and that's where Peter Piner plucked up. You guys get what
I
we're
think it
saying.
was originally the very first draft for it was Nice Peter, which was a epic rap battles reference.
Well, we also were going to do you versus the Spider-Man she told you not to worry about, but then we realized we'd use that joke
for
Predator?
Predator, yeah. Yep. I have 4 jokes in me.
No, this happens a lot.
It really does.
Really makes me feel badly about myself because I didn't realize how many times I pitched the same
That
joke.
we just pull from the same thing over and over.
We on my watch we've used Man of Feels twice, so I'm glad we caught it because I have a hard time keeping up. I have a hard
This
time
is another.
remembering.
As long as we're speaking in praise of Dan, this is why it's really helpful to have him around because he remembers a lot more honest trailer jokes than I do.
Yes.
So he's the guy that often is like, "No, we've done that before."
Yes, I am a little too much of a stoner to recall.
And he's
when
nice enough to not be like, "You idiot."
Yeah.
We've used that before.
That was last week, you moron. You dumb moron.
What else you got?
Yeah, we got. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think we've got just some
we
alts
have a
and
few.
stuff like that. Let's run them.
Starring Silk the Shocker.
Which was our favorite.
Versus the Spider-Man
There
she
you
told
go.
you not to worry about. Nice Peter. Teenage Mutant Ninja Scene Girl.
I love that
2
one.
great kingpins in 1 year? What a world. Full Metal Arachnid. Spider-Hammett. And... That'll do, pig. Swingers. The Spinister 6.
So we had the fortune of premiering this one at WonderCon on Friday, which was very nerve-wracking because it's always so fun to unveil a thing in front of 1,000 people.
Yeah. That even we had barely gotten a chance to watch. Yeah.
I was so excited. We had all the alts in the run that they saw, and we literally, Dan and I were just like, okay, biggest laugh, Bug Hero 6, check. Biggest laugh, I would watch 500 miles, check. Because Silk the Shocker was probably just for us.
And see,
I wrote it thinking, no chance this gets in. Because
it was my favorite.
It is a late 90s Dirty South reference. And I was like, there's just not that many people.
Yeah. Oh, the more No Limit... Look.
There's just not that many people into No Limit.
Spencer is gone, Lon. And if you want to make some No Limit jokes...
Finally, my Master P bits are going to get in.
Then you make those jokes
I want to say at least every draft.
And I will not say na-na-na. I will say, yes, please.
At least every draft, we each throw in about 3 jokes that are just to make everyone else laugh and go, you really thought this was going to get in?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, Spider-Hammett was just for me. Because Dashiell Hammett is the father of modern noir. And that just got silence in WonderCon, and I was like, okay.
But that's not the ham. The ham is the ham.
Yeah. I was like, okay, that's fair. And then Bug Hero 6.
Whatever you say.
Yeah, fine. But yeah, that's the trailer. Kevin, Emin, Randy, and Max Song, who's the editor on his game trailers, all came in on this one and just like knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, it was frenetic visually, as you can tell. Watching it. Like,
you guys
tons of work.
Drop some. I don't know if all of those guys are on Twitter or if you follow them. So just like on the tweet for this Honest trailer, like show those dudes some love because, especially leading up to WonderCon, this had to get done earlier. We had a whole bunch of other deadlines to hit, and we just piled, like a little kid dumps all their Legos out in the middle of the room and just spreads them. Like that's what we did with assignments for them in the last 2 weeks, and they absolutely nailed it. So thank you to y'all. This was great. Felicia Day, of course, check out her comedy sci-fi podcast, Voyage to the Stars, and of course Matt Mercer is the host of Critical Role, which you should also watch. And I hope you enjoyed all of my very deep cut Critical Role references in the trailer, because those were also just for me.
I feel like I got some of them.
Okay.
Not all.
Yeah.
Is it Tuesday yet?
Yeah. That's what he says at the end of his show. But Thursdays, because that's when his show comes out.
I got it. I'm sure there are some that I don't get, but
they were wonderful, and it's always weird. Voiceover is like a weird magical thing to me, especially watching like an actual scene between multiple characters get put together, because usually no one's in the same room. Usually,
yeah, that is like sometimes they'll show behind the scenes and they'll show the actors together, and that's a lie.
Yeah, that is
a lie.
100% a lie.
Never match up.
And it always amazes me to watch these folks read and know that like when they're doing a run, they're like, oh, this is how you would inflect the 4th thing in this list. Like, that's always
and then
so
always
impressive
making sure to give you so many different options, because knowing, hey, like, it's a different joke if I hit this word differently, which logically we all know, but then when you're in a booth and you've got to do it.
Yeah. I just thought that they absolutely nailed it, and that was super, super fun. And it's always fun to add to the canon of the epic voice guy. Now he has a bunch of multiple...
Now there's alternate voice dimensions.
Yeah, there's alternate voice dimensions. Yeah, super fun. That's about it. You guys have any...
We also want to thank, like we said before, Mr. Sunday Movies.
Yep, Mr. Sunday Movies. Vanessa Gritton absolutely killed this.
Who I believe you can find working at Good Mythical Morning now.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say that out loud or not.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Well, it's out there now.
Great. It's out there.
She's great.
We scooped her.
we scooped her new job.
Sorry, baby girl. I was trying to...
We scooped your good news.
Like Rhett and Link need our views. Let's make sure that we give some views.
It's a little show. Not sure you guys have heard of it. Called Good Mythical Morning. Sometimes
they try to support them.
They try to make things into tacos and hot dogs. And, it's fun.
And you guys should really it's just nice to support an underdog, and you really, really should. That's it. Next week is.
Oh, I know what this is.
Would one of you like to come up with the tease?
Oh boy.
It's the only movie I've watched so far for these that I wanted to punch in the face.
Okay, that's you know what? I think that's a good enough tease to keep the engine running.
I kind of liked it.
Ooh, interesting.
It's a smug movie.
All right. Well, we will see you right back here next week. Have a good week. Bye.